Hi, I'm Tammy Beilstein. Welcome to Tammy's Window on Calaveras. I'm here today with Debbie Powell, and she is with the Master Gardeners Program in Calaveras. Tell me your exact title.
Well, you can call me Master Gardener Coordinator, and that is simple enough. If I was to tell you really my title through the university, I'm a Community Education Specialist number 2.
Ooh.
So that's a little bit of a mouthful. So So actually, I like to say it kind of describes more what I do as far as being a Master Gardener Coordinator for the University of California Cooperative Extension.
Oh my goodness, that is a mouthful. I'm glad I let you say it. I'd still be doing it if it were me. So, as a Master Gardener,
yes.
you work over at in San Andreas by the Government Center, correct?
Yes, and we just moved, really. We just moved our office. We were at the Government Center, but our demonstration garden is at the Government Center. So the Master Gardeners have a demonstration garden.
Right.
It's right there on Mountain Ranch Road, 891 Mountain Ranch Road. Mm-hmm. It's about 2/3 of an acre. They use that demonstration garden for a lot of different venues in a lot of different ways, but that is a place that the Master Gardeners use to demonstrate good gardening practices based on research for the public.
Perfect. It is beautiful. It
is.
Our hospice has a little satellite office over at the senior center across the street from you guys.
Across the street.
So when I park there, I always look across the road and oh my gosh, I could stay there forever just looking at your garden there. So pretty.
It is. It's a lot of fun. We used to have weddings in the garden.
Did you?
Through the clerk recorder at the time. She has since retired, but at the time she would bring that up and actually offer for members of the public, instead of actually getting married right there on the government grounds, if they wanted to pick that garden. So it's kind of fun to think that some people have been married at the garden.
Why did they stop? I love that idea.
Well, and maybe, it's open again. They might do it. It's just that there was a change of personnel, and so, but yeah, that's a huge possibility. But they use that garden for open garden days. That's we have open gardens.
What is open garden day?
Okay, that is when the garden is open to the public. One of the days. That's when sometimes we have plant sales, and then also we give presentations about good gardening practices.
Okay.
So we have our next open garden event, which is the 4th Saturday in July from 10 to 1.
Okay.
And we'll be giving a presentation at about 10:30.
Do you know what it will be on?
It will be on succulents.
Okay.
And using succulents in your garden. Because a lot of times, believe it or not, because of our altitude here in San Andreas, we're at 1,008 foot elevation.
Who knows that except for you?
I go by the sign all the time.
Nobody else knows that. Go ahead.
But, people don't realize that you can grow a lot of succulents here that are cold hardy. We have quite a few sempervirens, that's a variety of succulents, in the garden. They're there all year round. And people just don't realize it because they're traditionally used to thinking of them as houseplants, and a lot of times they are, and they make wonderful houseplants, but some of them can be used outside. And one of the benefits is they're very drought tolerant.
Right.
So they don't take a lot of water. They definitely don't take a lot of care, which I think everybody kind of is kind of gravitate. I know.
Yeah.
Who would want to?
And aren't they easy to not share, but where you, what's that called? Where you cut a piece off and then plant it right next to it. I've done that with mine in the home.
You make cuttings.
Oh,
yeah.
And they take off. I'll just cut a little piece off and put it. It's like a white, salty-looking substance that I have that I'll put it in.
Oh, sure. Probably a hormone, a rooting hormone.
Oh, they take off. It's awesome.
Right. And you don't, a lot of the succulents, you don't even have to baby them that much. You're being really nice to them and giving them all the advantages that you can possibly give.
But I don't need to?
But you actually don't need to. If you take a cutting off of a succulent, whatever it is, usually they like to dry out a little bit for maybe 2 to 3 days, and they call it callousing over because there's so much moisture in the plant that a lot of times if you were to plant it right in the soil, it might start rotting. But some succulents are so tough that doesn't even bother them. You know, you can just throw it in the soil, so it depends on what it is. But they really are truly very easy.
They come in so many different shapes and colors and sizes. It blew me away. I wasn't that into it until someone at work was showing me how darn easy they were to take care of because I was totally overwatering mine. And, yeah, and I was not doing the right thing. But once I realized how easy they were, I started looking more into them. They're pretty cool plants.
They are. Yeah. So that's going to be our topic for the open garden in July. But this Thursday, the garden will be open from 4 to 6 because the Master Gardeners host the Calaveras Grown Farmers Market.
Oh.
So local vendors come to the garden. It's so much fun. I mean, I love our open garden events too, but the farmers market is incredible. Just about every farmer's market, they've had the Calaveras Community Band play music, so there's live music.
Oh, great.
There's so many different vendors. Some are selling honey, some have fresh produce. Last time that I was there, I bought tomatoes from the high school. I bought a carpenter bee box from one of the stands from one of our vendors. I think it was Krilitage, and it was beautiful. And then, because I couldn't help myself, I bought fresh flowers too from a couple of the vendors.
Oh, that's so
neat. It was just so much fun, and they have a hydration station, giving out water.
Does that happen every month?
It does through September. So it's
always there, or does it roam around?
No. The one here at San Andreas starts in May and ends in September. They were thinking about extending it until October, but I think for this year they're going to end in September. It's the second Thursday of the month, so it's from 4 to 6.
Okay.
What's really nice is a lot of times people get off work, and that gives them enough time to actually run over to the farmer's market and buy what they need and have some fun. And
oh, that is neat. I love that you guys do things like that.
Oh, it's a lot of fun. It really is. They do other events too. We had a very large collaborative event where we had, I think it was about 276 people from the community come in. I know, it was our largest event of that type.
Huge.
It was Kids Day in the Garden. It's a free event. And this event is put on through collaboration with First Five of Calaveras, Prevent Child Abuse Council. We get our, of course, the Master Gardeners are putting it on. And we have wonderful Master Gardeners that come up with all kinds of free activities for the kids.
How fun.
It's on a Saturday, and it has been lately, the second Saturday in May, and it's only from 10 to 12. So it's early in the morning, which is perfect for young children because it's kind of geared, for the younger kids, although we have activities for some of the older kids too. And I've even spotted parents doing activities.
You said it's only in May, though?
It's only in May, but we do have quite a following. We have, because we do a little questionnaire at the very end, and there's many people that put down that they come every single year and they look for it. And it's just a lot of fun. I believe this year they also had smoothies, which was put on by the UC Nutrition Department. And they had a secret ingredient in the smoothie.
Really?
I know, and they were asking the kids what it was.
What was it?
Well, the smoothie was green in color, and so a lot of kids were saying that it was apples.
Oh.
But it was actually zucchini.
Zucchini?
I know, and it was good. And it was mixed with other things, but it was really good.
And they didn't even know.
I know. So you can slip those zucchinis into your smoothie for your kids, and they're not going to know.
That is so cool. For a while, I was into smoothies. I don't know why I stopped, because I really enjoyed them. But I was putting spinach in there. My husband didn't even want to try it. And because of the color and because he knew it was spinach. But then when I had him taste it and didn't tell him what it was, I had berries or something that colored it more than the greenish color. And he loved it.
Oh, good.
And I was like, hello, it still has spinach in it.
It's good for you.
Yeah. It was delicious.
It is.
That's really neat. You guys thought of everything then. Food, entertainment, education.
Right. Well, and that's what we're all about, is education.
Yeah.
What I like to tell people is, because our office has moved and not everybody knows where we are.
Where is the new office?
Well, it's at the former CCWD building, which is just right around the corner from here.
Right here?
Yep, right here.
Wow,
I know. We're planning an open house and invite everybody over and show them, what's happening and what it looks like. But so we're just kind of we just haven't been able to tell the public, but now we have.
Good. Now everybody knows.
But traditionally, we have a master gardener there on Wednesdays, and so in the past, people have brought in their plant samples or their insects, and we try to help them out.
Does that cost anything if someone?
It does not cost anything.
Nothing. Okay.
But at our open garden events, we have the most master gardeners available to answer questions. So we have a variety of master gardeners that have different expertise.
Oh, okay.
One of actually the chairperson of our demonstration garden, that's in charge of the demonstration garden, and actually helped put together the demonstration garden by, she was right there at the startup, right at the beginning, and her name is Beviera Pennington.
Okay.
She rescues roses. So all the roses that are at the demonstration garden are rescued.
Wow. From
either this county or maybe an adjacent county. There could be a couple from Tuolumne. And we have a very famous rose at the garden.
Do you?
It is. It's called the San Andreas Car Wash Rose. I know. It's a little bit odd.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It actually is a really pretty rose.
Wasn't it a man who named that?
No, you're not going to believe it, but the rules are if you can't identify a rose.
Yeah.
And Bev is very good. She usually can identify a rose. So there is a possibility it's a new rose or a rose that simply hasn't been identified yet. So then the first name you give it is the location where you found it.
Okay.
So that rose was found next to the San Andreas Car Wash. I know. It sounds crazy, and the good news is it's at the garden because the original rose is no longer at the car wash.
Okay. So if that rose is never found again, never discovered, is that the name it has the rest of its existence?
Be. Yes, I know.
Oh,
but it is so famous. It is. It was the Rosarians at the Sacramento Rose Cemetery, or at the cemetery in Sacramento, that's very famous for the roses. They came to our demonstration garden, some of the Rosarians, and they took clippings, and so that rose is over there also.
Wow.
So just in case, we hope this never happens, of course, that, if the rose was to fail, that there's other people that have cuttings of the rose.
Oh, that is awesome.
And if anybody wanted to grow the rose, we teach you how to make cuttings and do your own heritage roses.
Oh my God, you know what you're making me think of? My great-grandmother, she was in Stockton, a cute little house that she had, and she loved roses, and she had different colors, but her whole garden that I can think of was roses. I can't think of, besides some fruit trees in her backyard, I can't think of any other flowers that she had. I would have loved to have known how to take clippings from her roses so I could tell my kids that these belong to your great-great-grandmother.
Oh, it's amazing. It would have been right, and maybe you'll have a chance to go back. I mean, I'm You never know. Or maybe, in the future you can, kind of identify the rose, or bring a picture, something that looks similar, and Bev could identify it possibly for you.
That would be neat.
Oh, yeah. It really is. Now, my daughter, actually, with her fiance, they were burned out in Mountain Ranch. So they lost his grandmother's roses, but she was able to identify a rose that she rescued and is growing. And so she was able to give a very tiny little rose to my daughter, so she's babying it on. So I know. And roses, probably one of the draws is they have these amazing stories. I mean, and talk about survivors. Heritage roses, because they're grown on their own rootstock rather than they're not grafted, which is a big deal in the rose world.
Is it? Okay.
Yes, because most roses you see, if you go to somebody's house, if they bought it, from a conventional store or nursery, a lot of times they're grafted roses, and the grafted roses have, they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful, but a lot of times they will only live maybe, 30 years, 40 years, which, sounds like a long time.
That is a long time.
I know it is. And they are tough roses, but if you have a rose that's on its rootstock, they can literally live for over 100 years.
Wow.
I know, they're amazing. There is, in fact, the cemeteries, roses were planted at the cemeteries, and one of the reasons is because they're just so tough. I mean, they're really tough. They'll live there for many, many years. Maybe every once in a while it would be nice if somebody would give them a drink of water. And in fact, a lot of times you'll be driving through Calaveras and you will go by an old home site. The house is no longer there, but the rose is. And it could be a large climbing rose, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's only one part of the garden. Then I should mention other parts.
What is the oldest rose that we have in our garden, our master gardener garden?
I would have to ask Bev, but some of the roses that she has mentioned, I'm not saying it's the original rose, because these are rescued roses, but they date back to the late 1800s.
Oh, that's awesome.
Isn't that fun?
I love stuff like that.
And a lot of the roses, at least the roses I've observed in the garden, some of them are just amazingly fragrant.
Oh, neat.
When you think about rose water, some of these roses, and Bev could tell you, but you'll have to see her when you come to the garden. I probably can't tell you. I'm not that knowledgeable, but she could.
Right. Oh my God, that's so cool.
But they use the garden, I should tell you, another really exciting use of the garden is it's actually recognized as an outdoor classroom for the Calaveras High School.
Oh.
Isn't that fun?
I didn't know that.
It's been recognized for the last couple of years, and right now we have a master gardener. Her name is Odile Morrison. She works with it's with some of the kids over at the high school. They come to the garden.
Is it a gardening class at the high school where they get to do this? They would have been called like special education or handicapped, or I'm not sure the politically correct wording, but they have this class at the high school, and I believe it's once a month that they come to the garden. They learn how to plant vegetables, they learn how to weed, they learn what is a weed, they learn about garden tools, they learn how to water. And I've been there. They love it. They just love it. It's such a wonderful environment to be in. And then she's also arranged for one of the foster groups for the kids when they have one of their outings to actually come to the garden. Great. So the garden is getting, quite a few uses. That is so neat. Mentioning the kids, that makes me think of my daughter's boyfriend has 3 little boys, and a few months ago we had them plant the little seeds in the those little peat pots they did that in the house. They kept them nice and warm, and they took care of them. Now those things are all in the garden, and the youngest one, he's 5, he pulled his a carrot, the first carrot that they grew,
fun.
and Okay, the thing was kind of hideous looking.
Oh.
But it was like, well, about this much of it looked like a carrot, and then from here down, it's super skinny from here down, and it does a squiggly thing.
Right.
And the top of it was black. It was really dark.
Gosh.
And he ate that thing like it was the best carrot he'd ever had in his whole entire life. It was adorable. So whatever they grew, they think it's the best tasting vegetable ever.
Absolutely. And we've got, I should mention this too, that we have master gardeners that are involved in the school gardens throughout Calaveras Unified and also in Michelson School. They've had a program there at Michelson for 20 years.
Oh my goodness.
They've taught every third grader about gardening. And one of the reasons they do this is kids will eat vegetables if they grow it. You totally hit upon it. They do. And you're right. They don't care what it looks like if they grew it.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was so proud of it. I've got to show you the pictures afterwards.
Oh, I would love to see them.
It's so cute.
And I think grown-ups do the same thing. I mean, I have to admit, when I'm at the demonstration garden, I love picking some of the cherry tomatoes. Yeah. They have so much sugar in them that they taste like candy, the little sun golds. Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are good. And then the snap peas, oh my gosh, they're so good. Or even the green beans when they're ready. I mean, you just kind of browse through the garden.
Wow.
I know, it's so much fun.
So cool.
I should also mention we have plant sales. We don't have one this month.
Okay.
But we will start up again in September. We'll have one in September and October. It's on our open garden events, which are the fourth Saturday of the month. But for the plant sale, it's only from 10 to 12.
Okay.
So, but these are all plants that are grown by the master gardeners within the county. So the important thing is they're adapted to these growing conditions.
Right.
They're grown right here. They're used to the hot summers. They've been used to the hot summers. A lot of times they can be native plants. That's what they're trying to focus on, is native plants or plants that are easily naturalized to this climate. And another probably good reason to buy the plants is that they are so affordable.
I was going to ask you that. Do they cost more because they were grown by a master gardener?
No, they're so affordable. It's ridiculous. I mean, I shouldn't put it that way, but I used to work in the nursery industry years ago, and they are at prices that were probably 20 years ago.
Really?
And I have asked them, I mean, this sounds kind of mean on my part, I thought, have you thought about raising your prices?
Yeah.
And they're so sweet. They always tell me, they say, Debbie, the reason we're doing this is to make sure it's affordable for the public.
Love that.
I know.
Oh, we definitely need to go shopping there. Seriously, I think I have been around when you guys are having that going on because the parking lot was packed. And in my head, I had thought it was probably really expensive to get the things there from you guys.
No, not at all. In fact, I am so frugal myself that I shop there too. But Dolores Ranson, who's in charge of the plant sales and propagation, she is so concerned about the public that as far as master gardeners, we're only allowed to shop the last 15 minutes of the sale. So that way the public gets the best plants. They have access to the best plants.
That's neat. You guys don't have to do that. That's really neat.
I was really surprised. And then, of course, sometimes you have your eye on your favorite plant and you go, oh my gosh.
Don't touch that one.
But they don't do that.
You don't walk around and tell the kids, don't touch it, it's poisonous.
No, they don't do that either. Actually, and what she does is she tries to pair up master gardeners with our clients that come in to buy plants, because she wants to make sure that they are from the same area, the same geographical location, so that they can give the best advice. So she'll pair up somebody that lives in Valley Springs with a client that is from Valley Springs, so they can literally say, yes, this is going to be just fine. It's a great plant.
Where does the money go that you guys raise from these plant sales?
Thank you for the question. No, thank you for the question, because the Master Gardener program gets all their money from the plant sales. So it's a self-funded program. So when they're doing different projects, say if they're helping out at a school garden and they need money for that, or if they need money for the demonstration garden, maybe some type of repair within the garden, it's completely self-funded.
Awesome.
So no money, I know in the past I've talked to, some of our clients, and they thought, well, maybe you get some money from the state. And we're like, no.
Really?
And
so what about
nothing.
The things you definitely need, like the soil and the...
That is all from the plant sales.
Really?
Everything is from the plant sales. And that's one of the reasons I was trying to convince them to raise their prices, but they wouldn't.
Right.
They just said, we need to grow more plants and we have to have more plant sales. I mean, if there was a large project, and they've done some very large projects. They just recently revamped a section of the garden that's actually called the Children's Garden. And it's a little area of the garden that is for kids. I mean, of course, grown-ups can go in there too, but they have planter beds that look like Legos are stuck to them.
How cute.
I know. It is so adorable. And the picket fence, it was replaced, which was quite a bit of money, and it was repainted with primary colors, so it kind of gives the look of crayons.
How cute.
It is really adorable.
That's
and
darling.
This was done by Frank and Linda Ross. They're just so amazingly talented. They put stepping stones with bright colors, and when I go through that section of the garden, of course I have to go on the stepping stones. I mean, who doesn't?
You have to pretend that everything around is hot lava. That's how that works. Yeah.
That's right.
How neat. So
we
real quick,
very talented.
We have a couple minutes left. What if somebody wanted to, say, donate that expensive picket fencing to you? Are you allowed to accept things like that?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Yes, and I mean, there's ways to contact us, but generally we can be found, and I want to give you an overall site. It's Central Sierra Cooperative Extension, and that lists all the information in the world about our program, but also about the other Master Gardener programs within the 4 counties.
Okay.
Because we actually have a multi-county partnership that covers El Dorado, Amador, Calaveras, and Tuolumne counties.
Nice.
So if you're interested in a plant sale or a class, a gardening class, even a Master Food Preserver class, it's all found on this one website. Okay. So all you have to do is Google Central Sierra Cooperative Extension.
Central Sierra Cooperative Extension.
I know, it's another mouthful, but...
You people.
I know. Got to get it all in.
Right. So they go there. They can find out about things happening in these 4 counties. Do you guys have a wish list of things that you need?
You know what? I'll have to ask the Master Gardeners. I don't have that wish list right now, but I know they have a list of projects they're planning for in the fall. So that would be great.
Okay.
That would absolutely be great.
Cool.
But really, the best is to come to our open garden.
Perfect.
Yes.
You had a lot of really neat information, and our time is already up.
No.
You got to come back.
I'd love to. Thank you so much.
Thank you for everything you guys are doing with the children and people my age and everything in between. I mean, you guys you're making it fun.
And I thank the Master Gardener volunteers because they're amazing. I'm just the coordinator, and I'm paid staff, but they're truly amazing.
Well, thank you all then for what you're doing. So I'll see you again when you come back.
Okay.
Please. All right. You guys, that is it. That show flew by. Thank you for being here, and thank you for watching, and I will see you next time on Tammy's Window on Calaveras.